Welcome into this Thursday morning, right around 9:20 on RiverBender.com, Roku TV. I'm in the studio while I'm in Las Vegas. Lee Barham joins me now as we're talking the 19th annual Miles Davis Jazz Festival. I can't believe it's already been 19. That's almost older than I am, Lee.
Hey, it's been a whirlwind.
So right off the bat, how did the event get started?
The event got started 19 years ago by a gentleman named Tom Ragnar, Lily Gardner, Everett Lloyd, and Geneva Perry. They wanted to honor Miles Davis since this is his hometown, and they formed a group. And they came together, and one day I had a note on my door that says, "Come to the meeting." So I went to the meeting, I enjoyed it, and here I am.
That's incredible. Well, and you know what's cool? Last week in Grafton, they had the Blues Festival, and a guy from Georgia came up, Atlanta, Georgia, and his name's Drew Ashworth. And we were talking last year, and he was talking about his love for Miles Davis, and he's like, "I can't wait to get up to Alton just to see if there's something that recognizes Miles Davis." I go, "Man, go to the statue, and then you can go to the spot where his birth house was, right up there."
Or mopping.
Yep, he had the time of his life, man. But it's so cool to see how Miles Davis's legacy really still is alive in so many musicians.
Yes, it is. Miles was the trailblazers for a lot of people, and they try to emulate Miles, but there's only one Miles.
There is 100% only one Miles. Now, the theme this year is Soulful Youth.
Soulful Youth. Our theme is because we are, even though we have Jazz Festival, we want to entitle the youth. We're giving back to our youth. Our youth is our future and stuff. And that's something I know deep down in my heart that Miles will enjoy. He will enjoy the music, but it's most likely by giving back to our youth.
Yep. Well, and too, I mean, just given that moment, and taking that opportunity to recognize the youth, it opens up a whole chapter to different opportunities because they know their community welcomes them and supports them, and now it's time for them to support us.
There you go.
It's all about that cycle, man. And
yes.
You guys have it really, I mean, I love what you do with it. And now, what I think's cool is that Jared Hennings is going to be Master of Ceremony.
Yes, he is.
No better person to be the Master of Ceremony.
Hey. He's the best.
He is, man. And now a moment of silence is going to be taking place. I guess definitely no better time with all the crazy stuff happening in our world today.
Moment of silence for our world and for our city.
100%. And now who's going to be performing all throughout this? How does all that kind of get decided?
Well, we have two performers. One of them is Anisha Storm, who's the headliner, and she's the opening act. And the headliner is Soul Cafe.
Really cool. Now, is that with some of the members of Porch Cafe in that band? Or is this a different?
It's a separate group.
Okay, cool. This is cool. I'm learning. This is awesome, man. Well, let me talk about some of the scholarship recipients. Are we giving scholarships out?
Yes, we are. We are giving out 6 scholarships, $500 each. Wow. This is the most we have ever given, and I am so excited. But it's because we had tremendous sponsorship this year. I can't emphasize enough about the sponsorship. The sponsorships goes a long way towards aiding our youth. We, as a community, as small as we are, got to embrace our youth. We have kids that's coming from, that receive it from Marquette, Alton High, and I think we got one that was homeschooled.
Really cool.
So we got the spectrum of all the children.
Well, you know what? You said something not a lot of people say. We're a small town.
Yeah.
Lee, sometimes, man, it seems like as a community, we act like we have 50, 60,000 people in here. No, we have 24,000. Let's celebrate that, and let's grow with the 24 and not act like we're too big for who we are.
Right, because we are investing in our youth.
Yeah.
Last weekend, they graduated about 380 kids, and I feel that's a very small amount to be graduating because normally Alton High be averaging 500 plus.
I started saying my class had almost 600 in it. Yeah,
correct. So I was looking and say that's a small class, and what's going on? So it's a part about giving honor to our students and stuff. Let them know wherever they go, that Alton will always be their home.
And you know what? That's a huge thing. I got into a conversation last week about, being in the community and what that looks like for youth. And you have to have moments like what you guys are doing because the youth need to know, sometimes a lot of people want to get away, and be the big shot and come back and look at me. why don't you stay in your community and not work for yourself, but work for your community, just like the community's worked for you, and then develop that type of love with your own generation instead of going away and forgetting about your hometown and coming back when you're 40. You know, that's my way of looking at it.
That's my way of looking at it too. But you got to invest, show them an investment.
Yep.
By us investing in them now, they see we care for them. We're just not saying, oh, you graduating, you're on your own. No.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, it's about embracing our youth, because our youth is our future.
Well, and there's a ton. I mean, I'm looking at some of the scholarship recipients, and I mean, these students have made a name for themselves, really, and some of their academic accomplishments and their community accomplishments, like Keon Lacey. I mean, that young man is going to be going places.
Yes, he is.
Well, and, you know, take me through how the scholarships are kind of decided. Are they all submitted? Is there an application process?
They are submitted. The forms are filled out. The application is filled out around December to April.
Okay.
And then after that, a panel decides, go through. This year we had about 30 to decide. And we get they've got a multitude from Marquette and Alton High and this gentleman that was homeschool and stuff.
I'm really happy with this event, because we need more for the youth, and not just here, come do this, but be a part of it. Submit some scholarship applications, because you might get something out of this by, being a part of the Miles Davis Jazz Festival. And it's just it's a real incentive that's not about being out and partying or having some big day of climbing and doing this and doing that and, climbing rocks or, petting a mule and all that. It's about really kind of just celebrating one of Alton's notable figures.
One of Alton's, there you go.
Most notable figures, actually, And I just love it. I really do, because there's so many opportunities to go out and do events, man, that are about, maybe it's not, having kids party, but, their parents are out there with beer in their hands and all this. And, we need those, but that's fine. But we need these more than anything, with these type of events where we're going in and we're celebrating music and we're celebrating an icon and kids are being awarded with scholarships. That's a community event.
Correct. And then years from now, they will always remember.
Yep.
I was one of the recipients of the Miles Davis Jazz Festival.
And it means something. It really does, because that scholarship, regardless of what it goes towards, they remember, man. And that's cool.
And right. And they be able, wherever they go in college, they say, you know what? And someone brings up about Miles, they say, wait a minute, that's from my hometown. I received one of the scholarships from it.
And you know what? To anyone at home going, well, maybe, no, it does happen, because there's so many times, man, I've been in meetings, and whether it's with pro wrestling that I used to or politics or whatever, that those conversations really spark a lot of growth. It's
Correct.
Crazy how that happens.
Correct.
Now, have you had a chance to listen to some of the performers yet? Or are you going to be surprised with all of us on June the 1st? Or no, June 1st?
Yes, it's June 1st.
Okay.
Yes.
I get confused, man. That's why they put a screen in front of me.
No, I would get to this is the first time I got a gentleman, his name is Jimmy Small, who handles the bands and stuff, and he's in tune with who to go get.
I'm excited. And now Asada Storm's the opening performer.
Correct.
And then Soul Cafe's coming in. But, I think it's really cool. This is a big group of board members that you have. I mean, normally whenever I ask about a board, there's 2 or 3 people. But this seems like a group that people want to be a part of, too.
Correct.
And how are board members chosen? Is it just is it a voting process and kind of getting everyone together?
It's about the love for Miles, the love for your community.
I love it.
A lot of people want to be part of it, but you got to show that enthusiasm. It's all right to have the fun day, but you got to lead up to it. You lead up to it by, you had to get out here and secure sponsorship. You got to secure the children, and then you also got to need the community support.
You got to put in the work. You can't just celebrate,
There you go.
That's what I think's really cool about this, man, because you're always, I mean, you're working yourself still, and
Yes.
You're coming back and putting on not just this event, but tons of others and really being a part of it. With the theme being Soulful Youth, what's your message to the youth in this community about, the value of community?
I want them always to remember Alton. No matter where you go in life, a lot of people, they know about St. Louis, but remember Alton for who it is. It's a small town with a lot of values and stuff. This city here, we have Miles Davis, we have Luther Ingram, I'm thinking right off my back, We had the senator.
Oh yeah,
the senator that written the 13th Amendment. He was from here in Alton.
That, you know what? So I was in Mr. Day's class in Alton High School, and that was the coolest lesson I've ever learned because I'm a big history guy, especially presidential history. I could go down the list of all the stupid things presidents have done and all that, but we were talking about the 13th Amendment. He goes, you guys ever drive up by St. Mary's and, Henry Street, and you see that big white house that has that American flag on it? And he talked to us about the justice that actually affirmed that decision.
Correct.
And to me, it's like, I even said it in class that day, Lee. I said, why is this not a day in Alton? That is one of the most monumental decisions. And
Correct.
all we have is a flag out there? Like, what are we doing here? That's my thought. Anyway, that's my thought anyway.
We need to embrace our own.
We do.
Even Scott Bibbs.
Yep.
Even Scott Bibbs. Scott Bibbs, before there was Brown versus Board of Education, there was Scott Bibbs who fought for education. I mean, our history is rich. We got the Gentle Giant. I mean, we got the barges. You can name it. I mean, if you just really sit back and think about it, Alton is rich in history.
So I got in trouble. Let me tell you this. I was in Texas doing pro wrestling, and we were in Georgetown. And I lived in Georgetown right outside of Austin. And they had this sign, historic Georgetown, and all this stuff. And granted, yeah, a few historical things happen, but when your town's 200 years old, eventually, yeah, a bear finds a place in the woods. But I get there and I'm like, what's historic about this? Yeah, it has a nice town square, but where's the history? And I'm talking about Alton and just going down the gauntlet of all these opportunities that presented itself to the Alton area. And I'm like, you guys aren't historic. It's just old. Quit saying everything's historic because you're 200 years old. Just say you're a 200-year-old town. Slap it on there. But we have history, rich history.
Yes, we do.
And you know what I think's cool, and I don't know what your thoughts are, but our history really doesn't just span one sector. I mean, it goes all over, from music to innovations to you name it.
To history, I mean, to our community activist leaders.
Yeah.
You name it. I mean, we have to.
Yep.
As Altonians, got to embrace who we are.
100%. So why do you have a moment to stick around?
Sure.
I got to pay a quick bill. We'll take a quick break, but our conversation with Lee, and we're learning all about that 19th annual Miles Davis Jazz Festival continues. But while I have you, I got to pay a quick bill. Let me fill you in on Denise Sparks Junk Removal and Hauling. You seen those purple and yellow trash cans yet?
Yes.
So Denise called me last year. She said, CJ, I'm taking on the big guy. I've had enough of them. And I said, good, because I have too. And even though you and I live in Alton, so we're stuck with the certain trash provider. There is, Denise Sparks is doing awesome, man. She is gaining more and more followers, and it's because of her service. She called Denise. Guess what happens? She picks up the phone. Yes. Ain't no call center, ain't no press 3, or we'll expedite your claim. She's just there to look after you. Now, if your hot tub's been in the backyard since the financial crash of '08 and your neighbors are getting ready to report you, call Denise for those 31 years of junk hauling. But if you're ready to make a change with trash, I can't yet in Alton. Hopefully that'll change. But if you don't live in Alton, then you have the option. Go to sparksjunkremoval.net, fill out the form, see if you save a little bit of bucks. But if you don't, just realize you're working with a company that cares about you, and you aren't just a number there. That's Sparks Junk Removal. Get over here.net.